in the house.
Yeah.
Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, everyone? What's going on? XRP Jr. coming in from Norway. What's going on, everyone? Today we have an amazing show here on the chain. Man, Chip, yesterday's show was epic with Congressman Warren Davidson. It was absolutely outstanding. We have some more commentary on that for you guys. Here's the question: XRP, when regulatory clarity in the US? That's what I want to know. When is it? And now here's the big one: does price keep dropping without it? If we get no regulatory clarity, for all those that are in countries with regulatory clarity and normalcy in the crypto space, big shout out to you guys. Not such a big shout out to us. You guys ready to kick this thing off, Chip?
I think I'm ready. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Hello, everybody. Everybody drop where you are coming in from, country, location, famous about where you're from, or like something interesting about, because everyone's from a town. It's like, my town, by the way, I grew up in a town that at one time had the most pubs in a single mile. And that's, I don't know if that's something you want to be proud of, but at one point in the US, it had the most bars, pubs, drinking establishments on this one street in my town than anywhere else in the US. It didn't hold the victory for long, but somebody has something like that. Somebody has some type of
was it near SUNY Buffalo?
Not really. It was North NC. It was an NT, and it was Oliver Street. So there you go. Like Oliver Twist. No, there you go. So dropping in there, guys, where you're from and all that good stuff. And we got a lot to talk about today. Look at this, Patrick Dixon. Good day, guys.
Hey, guys.
Good day. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? Fernando's here on time today. Good to see that.
Got Nebraska
Hello. Yeah, it's all good to hear. And M's here as well. Hola. And check that out right there. That is one hell of a good-looking, badass mentalist Yeti. Love to see that. Cool. Don't forget we got Brett, our one listener from Nebraska in here.
That's what's unique about Nebraska, our one listener.
By the way, hang on a second, Jeff. I know the Panthers are playing tonight.
The Panthers are playing tonight, and they are taking on the Leafs, who are down 2-0. Don't know what the score is right now. However, if I'm not mistaken, Max Verstappen won Miami today, and
2-2 in the second period. 2 minutes left in the second period.
2-2. Man,
just had to do an update.
Am I mistaken about that? Was it Max Verstappen today? Man, I'm mixing up all the races and sports. Too much going on today.
There's a lot going on. Heat won again, so the Miami Heat are up 2-1 on the Knicks. New York Knickerbockers, and every analyst on that one, by the way, Jeff called it was going to be, the Heat don't have a chance and have a shot, and maybe they don't. Who knows? I don't know. Right there's Karma. Carmichael says here, Louisiana, waiting on the classic sound effect. You know the one. Karma's calling it early tonight, Jeff. Karma's calling it early tonight. I will have to hit it. What's going on, Oscar? By the way, Oscar is really going up on the Twitter, man. I mean, it's like he's really got a good command. He's putting out some amazing content. If you guys aren't following him, Oscar, drop your Twitter handle in there so people can go follow you because it's good stuff, man. Baton Rouge, Louisiana in the house. Yeah, we got some Louisiana folks in the house. I'd like to see that. Right, guys, here, of course. Well, let's get into some news here, Jeff. By the way, that interview yesterday,
was epic.
A shorter version of that is going to drop tomorrow. A very well done version where it's very succinct, but it's maybe 16 minutes long. The whole interview we had with Congressman Warren Davidson was 30 minutes. Succinctly, Jeff, we started at 8. He got at 8:30. It's like we were like time machine. We were right on the whole time thing. Not like today where we always have some technical difficulties. So.
Yeah, we always kind of, we're sitting there talking. Yesterday, we made sure we started punctually exactly at 8 o'clock. We were on promptly with the congressman. He had his 30-minute spot. Like Chip said, Chip did an amazing job going through and making sure that we could put together a nice video that you guys could just consume in a 15-minute period. All the highlights from the interview yesterday. So make sure you guys watch that. It's amazing because there's a lot to learn, even though you might have seen it live. Maybe you saw it on the rewatch, but go watch the video that's dropping tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Why? Because there's going to be a lot to consume in that video, a lot to learn, and you do it in a short period of time in 15 minutes, and share with your friends. Your
Yeah,
friends are going
I
to
have to
love it
say
too.
there were a lot of after going through the edit and watching it over and over again, man, there's dropped a lot of good stuff in there. Some stuff we hadn't heard before, right? Um, it's a great interview. And one of the things I love about Warren Davidson is the fact that he's just so knowledgeable and really has a good hand of what's going on in Washington. He also painted a really nice picture of what it was like to come in as a junior member. Because remember, Boehner was the ex-Speaker of the House. And so he took over. Boehner resigned. He took over that last bit of his before re-election. So he was put in. And Boehner had been there, my God, for years, Speaker Boehner, I don't know, he'd been there a long time, been Speaker a long time. So he took over a pretty high ranking chair. If you think about someone taking over Nancy Pelosi's chair on the blue team, that's the sort of epicness of that. He kind of walked us through what that was like, talked to what was going on in crypto. There were some shocking things that I learned yesterday that I was just a little bit surprised about, Jeff. So especially,
Yeah, well, one of the things, I mean, you think about from the first time that we spoke with a congressman up until now, the amount of information that he's learned in that period of time. And when he first introduced the Token Taxonomy Act, it was still relatively new to him. It was definitely new to the majority of the members of Congress. A lot of advancements have happened since then. A lot of changes in the space. The one big highlight, they're just shining, spotlight on the fact that since the last time we had him on, they had the biggest lawsuit in the history of crypto is dropped, and that was SEC v. Ripple. And one of the things, Chip, that the takeaways was that had the Token Taxonomy Act been passed back in 2018, the first time that he introduced it, everything would have been different right now.
so different, Jeff. And you brought that point up. That question was just really well poised. We learned a lot about I guess the way sort of a little more of the inner workings of Washington. I was kind of surprised to find out that the appetite, there's a lot more appetite on the blue team, but they're kind of towing the line. And it makes sense because when you mentioned some of the folks that have been supported, had been very supportive of digital assets and crypto legislation, kind of have been sort of slow walked behind the woodshed and had a conversation, a talking to, so to speak, right? So that was good. And I kind of felt like we kind of like a little peek behind the curtain of what was going on. So I thought that was great. And I mean, we literally talked for maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes before that, and it was go time, and he did not disappoint. It was excellent. So you guys will have
great.
to, Rye Guy says, yeah, great interview. And I think the one you see tomorrow, if you want to like watch it, because there's so much information that editing it together and kind of picking out the bits that, again, we took it down, distilled it in half. So it's a little more watchable, and got rid of Jeff's ramblings and my ramblings. So that kind of cut out about 10 minutes. So that was
about 25 minutes of the interview right there.
Could have been about 20 minutes of it. Who knows? Who's keeping track, Jeff? I'm not. Maybe Rye Guy is. I don't know. Karma might be. I don't know. Someone's keeping track out there. John Doe. It's damn autocorrect. Noah Joel face. I don't know what he's talking about there.
No, it was out. So one of the things that has really come out of that is that going into this next election cycle, even right now, and he even gave a little bit of a shout out to Maxine Waters, who chaired the FSC, prior, and just done the one little bit where they actually put together an investigative committee, to start talking about crypto. And we remember that got passed through, and it was really, it was a nothing burger overall. But it got the conversation. Everything moved so slowly in Congress. So, it's first they got to vote on the idea that they even want to vote on something. So they vote on that. Then they vote on whether or not they're going to even have a conversation about it. And that's just like the stages that they have to go through. So tedious.
Jeff, you've been part of companies where you have to have a meeting to talk about the meeting you're going to have. And then I always like to have a well thought out agenda, because if you don't have a well thought out agenda, then it's no point in having the meeting. Otherwise, just a bunch of rambling and complaining. But you want to be on point. And unfortunately, the way Well, I should say, fortunately, that's the way Congress works. We think it goes through the House of Representatives and then up to the Senate and then to the president's desk for a signature was supposed to be tedious. It was supposed to be arduous. It was supposed to be long. It was supposed to be complicated. It was supposed to be a lot of debate because it shouldn't have been that easy just to pass legislation. I mean, technically it is, but you have opposing viewpoints. Even within inside of one of the parties, you can have opposing viewpoints. And then on top of it, you have your overall arching viewpoint. The red team has theirs, the blue team has theirs. They have your marching orders. You don't want to got too lockstep out of that. So yeah, what's K-Head saying? Thank you for that, K-Head. The rambling man, rambling gambling man. That's us. That's us, K-Head. So Jeff, I wanted to jump into some stuff.
Surf Days coming in from San Diego, man. The one little conservative bastion of California. We've got Baton Rouge is here as well.
Let's see. So here we go. I want to go ahead and
a quick shout out to Denny Hamlin beating Kyle Larson in the Kansas NASCAR race, which is the Advent 400. That was exciting today too.
Didn't watch it. Not my thing.
All right, go ahead. What do we got?
So
got something solid here. Look at even the number 400 is right there. 400 Advent 400 over 400 crypto.
There are no so Guardian is you can buy over 400 crypto assets there, and they just did a partnership with the Sum wallet.
Ooh.
And so this is kind of a cool little announcement here, announcing that they partner up with Sum to offer users the seamless way to buy and sell crypto universe. I got to say, Jeff, I am becoming a huge fan of Sum because it's so easy. It's so easy, and especially like if you go over, like when I get an NFT, it doesn't matter what marketplace you go to, but you connect your wallet, you click on mint, it pops open the wallet, whatever it is, like for example, and with the Badass Yeti, it's 125 XRP. You slide to accept it. You see the thing in 4 or 5 seconds, bing, there it is, and it's in your wallet.
An NFT, sweet,
and you have
such an amazing.
It's so amazing. Easy to use, and there's so many good apps on there too, dApps or whatever they call them on there, but they're fantastic. And they say it's a popular wallet. It's really fantastic.
It's gaining popularity now. What? Here's the question I have: what is Guardian?
So Guardian is an exchange that you can buy crypto on. But I'm not sure where they're. I've never heard of it before because I'm wondering if it's European. Because I've not heard of it either. It's in Rotterdam. Oh, Rotterdamani. It's in Estonia. So there you go.
And there's an interesting country in the world is Estonia. Man, they
Guardian,
give you digital citizenship in Estonia. So this is it's great to see things popping up like this, where you see that, man, crypto, the exchanges are just blossoming all over the world. So what is it called?
Right there, Jeff? Visa, MasterCard, SEPA, which is the European, Swift, faster payments, Google, and Apple. So
I think they put Swift just for the heck of it.
It's a way. I don't know how do you buy it with Swift? I guess maybe your bank account. I'm not sure how that works, but
that means we'd have to buy it from here. Anyway, I'd rather use a Visa.
I was saying Guardian. It's Gardarian. I was like, how did they get Guardian.com? I thought that was already taken, but it's Gardarian.
I see that now. Yeah, as soon as you said Guardian, it looked like Guardian to me after you said Guardian. And now I also see it as not Guardian.
I still want to say Guardian, even though I know better now, Jeff. I just do. It's like
maybe Gardarian.
Yeah, Gardarian's integrations. Users will have a new option to buy and sell from a variety of cryptocurrencies directly within the app. So you just can go. Again, they made it even easier to be able to do it.
Awesome.
And their on-off ramp solution designed to make buying and selling crypto accessible and seamless. A few taps, some users will be able to purchase XRP using 40 plus fiat currencies. Not bad. Cash out their crypto assets directly to their bank account. Integration's intuitive and easy to use. So it's kind of a nice thing. I just love the way this release is laid out as well. It's nice and clean.
Oh, it's nice.
Looking excited for. It's not filled with jibber jabber where it's like these quotes the attorneys wrote and. We think it's most it's all so silly, but this is great. I love the look of this. I've never heard of it before, Gardarian, but love the logo. Looks clean. It's based in Estonia,
man, it's great.
Thought that was pretty cool. Thought that was
out of all of our listeners over there in Estonia. Have you guys heard of it? Anyone that listens that watches in the playback, then you can let us know. Not sure if we have
Look at
any
this. So Mike says
listeners over in
some,
Estonia,
but
but we'll
it's not
find
the
out.
next. But he says it's the real
The
deal.
real shit.
The real shit. Some is great, says Fernando. Keith loves it too. He thinks it's awesome. Been using it since it came out. So Mike's been he's an old time.
You know,
Look at
you
this
know
right
who we
here.
need to have on? We need to bring Vitzi
Win, yeah. Which win? We
over
gotta get him
here
on
and
here.
have him talk about this on wallet. We haven't brought him on, so that could
We
be
haven't
really
brought him on. We
interesting.
need to get him on. We've been talking to him, but it's like, we do our show usually live, but maybe Saturday morning might be an option.
Saturday morning could. So we'll have to reach out to him.
Who thought we would be interviewing a congressman at 8 in the morning? I certainly wasn't thinking about it.
That was
Very
great.
easy. Hydroponic Alex says that Florida should be the next state to go gold. To go gold, back crypto, and I think DeSantis will do it. I don't know how he does that exactly. I mean,
Well, we do have which was the last country, Montana. A couple countries just passed laws to forbid CBDCs. So Florida's one. I'm not going to allow the CBDCs or the digital dollar over here. It's gonna be interesting developments. If the states can stop it, if you get a convention of the states and they stand up to the federal government on that, they'll say, "Hey, we're not going to accept your currency."
Jeff, is it what's the overruling? Is it 30 of the 50 state? How many in the convention of states? We've never had a convention of states, but it's in the Constitution that if all of the U.S. states get together and they can go ahead and this is beyond Congress stuff. This is like, if they wanted to tighten up the Second Amendment, they could. There's a lot of things they could actually do.
34.
So you need 34 states lock sync. It's never happened in the U.S. in the 240 years of existence. It has not happened, but it's bound to happen, Jeff, at some point. Maybe we'll see what happens.
We're getting pretty close to a point where it has to happen. So under Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution, Congress is required to hold a constitutional convention if 2/3 of the state legislatures, 34 states, call for one. So if the states call for it, and I think there's enough states that are upset, the question is if they're willing to do it.
Right. If they could call it for crypto legislation, right? So they could put through legislation and start saying that Bitcoin's legal tender, all digital assets are legal tender. They could also say that, when we talk about, there's a lot there. It's never happened. So that tells you a lot too. But at some point, when push comes to shove, you got to think that at some point something has to give. And I think we should start off with a video here, Jeff. I want to go with this one. Patrick McHenry. Yeah, we got a couple of videos to watch today, but I want to watch this one, Patrick McHenry, because this is good. I always like how the media tries to corner someone. You're talking to a break guy, doesn't play. Homie don't play, doesn't do that, right? So here we go. So here we are.
The banking sector right now. Last time you were,
and if you guys don't know Face the Nation, it's Face the Nation on CBS. It's a liberal sort of a basic slant to it. I mean, it has all these are the Sunday shows, right? So he was on the Sunday shows all have these like 1 hour shows where they're going to get into these in-depth interviews and they're going to try to attack you with some propaganda or anything. And he's already ready. If you just look at that face right there, Patrick McHenry is already ready. Let's go. Let's listen to this interview.
Here, you mentioned concern about some of the smaller banks in America, community banks being endangered. On Monday, the government, the FDIC, sold failed regional bank First Republic to JP Morgan Chase. That's the country's largest bank. It got even bigger here. Are you going to take action to address some of this? Because there's concern on both sides of the aisle about big banks getting bigger.
Yes, and the way we have to do this is I agree with Michael Barr, the vice chair of the Fed's review. We have to provision for liquidity more quickly for these smaller banks. We have to make sure that we have a healthy banking arrangement across the whole spectrum, and we have to ensure that banking models can exist in a society where bank runs can happen more quickly than ever before.
Jeff, how about that right there? Like, bank runs can happen more quickly than they ever before. Funny part about it is, it's been this way for the last 20 plus years. Nobody doesn't come to the realization, right? What does a bank run look like? Let's suppose I sign up at a neobank, right? A neobank they don't have brick and mortars. They're all online. So I open up a checking account and I just go ahead and say, I'm going to wire my money from that That's the kind of bank run, not necessarily where you go in, but you can transfer funds out, which is what happened when you had the Signature Bank failure, you had the SVB failure, you had, when these banks failed, what caused it was a tweet. Actually, Twitter caused that SVB failure, created a lot of panic and FUD, and people started worried about it. Next thing you know, there was a bank run.
But let's get to the fundamentals here. If we look at the reason why these banks, the 3 of the 30 largest banks in the in America, have failed in the last 2 months, it's because of interest rate sensitivity of their balance sheet, which means they misjudged inflation. The Fed misjudged inflation. They've admitted it. They're behind the curve. The administration has been asleep at the switch for the supervisors of these institutions. But the root cause of this is inflation. And if we can address inflation, it gets to the disease rather than addressing the symptoms.
Management choices and hedging their bets could have been a big factor here when it came to the CEOs who ran these institutions.
Absolutely.
Are you going to call them in for testimony?
And they're going to be in 2 weeks before the House Financial Services Committee. And this is going to be an important hearing. In the next 2 months, the House Financial Services Committee will have the CEOs of these failed institutions. We're going to have the regulators in, including Secretary Yellen and Chair Powell. At the end of June, we're going to have our Humphrey Hawkins hearing to hear from the chair of the Federal Reserve.
This is interesting, Jeff. So they're talking about Yellen and Powell, and we have 2 videos from Yellen and Powell. And Jeff, I'm really worried because there are some bigger problems. I mean, you hear how eloquently he speaks. You hear that he's talking about, because really it all came down to inflation, Jeff. This is the rising interest rates are really what sank SVB, because they put $2 billion into this bad paper that ended up going bust once that interest rates went through the roof.
Yeah, and actually, once we're done watching this, I'm going to play a quick video. It's actually from another YouTube channel called Joe Blogs, and he put together this montage in the beginning of his video from Lebanon. And the reason why I want to show this is because they've recently faced 264% inflation, debt default, currency devaluation, bank shutting, an IMF deal that was defaulted on because IMF never bailed them out, all these different issues. Obviously, there's a lot of political and other things going on over there as well. But if you want to see what the possibilities and potential, we can look all over the world and see these types of examples. What you don't anticipate is that this same example could be happening right here based on the insanity, based on mismanagement. And this is what he's referencing. And when we get into the Janet Yellen videos as well, we're going to see that. And think about, these are the people that have been in charge of directing, or let's say the lack of direction on crypto chip.
Yeah, lack of direction, I think, makes more sense. Like, there's definitely a lack of direction, without a doubt. Let's listen to the rest of this. Only a little bit more here.
Jay Powell. Those are important dates in this calendar, especially given the state of banking in America today.
And all the pieces affecting the economy right now. I want to ask you as well, though, about the stability of the banking sector, because you had Jamie Dimon and Jay Powell, 2 of the most important people in the financial space, saying banks are solid. And then we saw all the volatility in the marketplace again this week. California's PacWest, Arizona's Western Alliance, those 2 regional banks under pressure. Are we going to see more government rescues?
Unfortunately, we're not out of the woods. But what depositors need to understand is, since 1933, when we enacted and created the Federal Deposit Insurance Commission, insured deposits have never had a penny of loss. We have 99% of the accounts in America are under the insured deposit cap level. And so 99% of the deposits in America are safe and sound. What we have to do is address over a period of time the safety and stability of smaller banks. At a time where the market is judging their business model, their interest rate sensitivity, and the assumption that regulators are going to require a lot more capital for these banks to exist, they're making big assumptions. But the stability of the accounts, they're there.
See, the thing is, Jeff, it seems like they're trying to squeeze the smaller community banks that have been there forever, that have been doing the right thing. It seems like they're going to try to figure out a way to squeeze them out, which, I mean, I'm not all that surprised about, but it is somewhat disheartening.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about the fact that they're going after the small regional banks. If they, they're the regional banks have been, the lifeblood of, many communities. And so basically they're saying too big to fail. They just want to, emphasize that, hey, maybe it's going to be JP Morgan and a couple others. And those are going to be the ones that they want to focus on.
Vincent Scully says, it looks like he wants to teach me about science. Science!
Little bad his view or what his appearance, because Paper Chase said he looks so innocent, badass Yeti in disguise.
Ooh, I like that. And we have this one from K HUD. Thank you for that. He says 1% of accounts are safe. Well, what he's referring to is that the cap is $250,000. So kind of what happened with SVB is that you had a lot of VC funds that had 500 million, 700 million, $1 million in there. And technically speaking, this is what's funny about when you get, Jeff, your comment about too big to fail kind of plays in this whole thing, because technically everybody would have got 250,000. And if you had a lot more than that, your 250,000 would have been safe. But that's just the way the FDIC works, right? Going back to what he said, 1933 since its inception. And I heard a crazy thing the other day, and I think maybe it was Steve Mnuchin. It was somebody, especially somebody from the Trump administration, said we should raise it to 25 million. Well, when SVB failed, the biggest issue that happened was Congress stepped in. Actually, not Congress. I don't even know how did they even appropriate the money to save it, because Congress didn't step in. Like, how did they do that? It seems a little bizarre that they don't have the latitude. This goes back to what Warren Davidson was saying yesterday in EPA versus West Virginia, where their mandate wasn't to be able to legislate and control carbon because there's no law around that, but they're kind of taking it to the next level. So where was the mandate that said they could go ahead and reimburse everybody with their money? Did this come from the Treasury, the Fed? They don't have that latitude.
They don't. And there's a lot of issues with that. And so let's play this just brief. It kind of puts a lot into perspective. We'll put this on. It's so again, this is 264% inflation, debt default, currency devaluation, a lot of crazy things going on over in Lebanon right now, as we've seen with other countries around the world. We don't want this happening here at our doorstep. Let me see. Let's see if this plays. Hang on. There we go. Ready?
Let's do it. Super low, Jeff. Can't hear it. Turn the volume up. Yeah, I don't hear it. It's super low.
You don't hear it?
No.
Maybe your volume's turned down.
No, it's super low. I don't think anybody.
It's super loud on my side.
No,
it's really loud. Can everybody hear it?
No, I don't hear it.
Thumbs up if you guys hear it.
It's so low. I can't even hear the words.
Really? Because it's really loud on my side.
No.
Let's see.
Are you playing it through your speaker, or are you playing it through the computer?
No, I play it through my headset. Nobody can hear it. That's so bizarre.
Yeah, I can't hear it. It's like
let me see.
It's like super low.
Really?
Can't hear it. Yeah, maybe are you sharing it with the sound? Sounds like it's like playing through one of your microphone.
Really? Oh, that's really bizarre. Let me check. All right. Well, we'll get to it. We will get
I don't know. It's really weird. It's like I heard it, but it was super low. So I want to play this other video here. One. Let's play this one here while we're figuring that one out. I always hate when you got a good video and you can't play it. But I want to play this one from. All right, let's have it. So you want to hear Janet Yellen or Chairman Powell, Jerome Powell?
Go to Janet Yellen first, because
okay, let's do this one first. Oh boy, Jeff, I honestly don't know what's going on, but when I listen to Janet Yellen, I'm very worried. That's all I can tell you.
Paint a picture for everyone. What happens on that day? Let's assume for the sake.
If people don't know who this is George Stephanopoulos, right? And he's famous for being part of the Bill Clinton campaign. He was part of the campaign. Who was he in the administration with Clinton? What was his role? I remember what his role was, but anyway. But then he got this gig here over at the
Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, he was part of the administration. I think he worked in the administration as well. The Bill Clinton administration.
Yeah, he did.
You can probably look him up. But anyway,
who was the guy that was putting documents into his pants?
Oh, that was Oh gosh, his name's right. Oh, I can't think of his name. You guys have probably put it in the thing.
That wasn't Stephanopoulos.
No, it wasn't
That
Stephanopoulos.
was a-
No, it was a congressman. It was Charlie. I'm surprised that Jim D's not here. You'd probably remember. Gosh, it's like
Burger.
right there. Oh, it'll come up.
Burger.
Yeah, Burger. What was his name? Something Burger.
Something Burger.
Yeah, Sandy Burger. That's
Sandy
it right
Burger.
there. Neil Cox. What a way to go, Sandy Burger. They're like, what do you got in your pants? What's going on? He goes, I don't know how those got there. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why those are in my pants. I didn't put them there.
Because again, you have like this. It's so secretive. You got to go through. You can't have your phone. All this stuff. I mean, Bat was back before that, but he was
Press secretary? Is that
he might have been press secretary. Someone look up Stephanopoulos. Anyway, he came from the Clinton administration,
Stephanopoulos.
and he's been working at this. So you're going to see like the softball questions, like, "Hey, what was your day like today?" You know, it's just goofy stuff like this. But when you listen to Janet Yellen, like everyone's worried about, maybe the resident in the White House. I have a lot of concerns here, Jeff. I don't even know. She was grilled in the hearing. And they're like, can you just give us like, what is the total budget? And she's looking through papers and stuff. It's like, you don't know? It's like, how do you not know? This is your job. You're the Secretary of the Treasury and you don't know. I don't expect you to know deep inside the numbers, but I do expect you to know the basics, right? So let's listen.
Is she 80?
I don't know what she is, Jeff, but I mean, I've never been a big fan. Like before,
No, she's always been bad.
When she was at the Federal Reserve, she went to the Treasury, and it's just the revolving door of ineptness is really what it is. Well, let's listen.
Yeah. Yes.
Paint a picture for everyone. What happens on that day? Let's assume for the sake of argument it's June 1st.
What they're talking about is the debt ceiling, right? So if the debt ceiling doesn't pass and it doesn't go through before June 1st, please, Janet Yellen, tell us what's going to happen. Jeff, listen very closely to how she talks about what's going to happen. And notice that she never mentions certain things.
What happens that day if the debt limit has not been extended?
Well, Treasury finds itself in a position where we're unable to pay all of the bills that come due that day. And this would be really the first time in the history of America that we would fail to make payments that are due. And
Jeff, are any of the politicians
wait.
going to be affected?
No, they won't. But remember what Greenspan said the other day? He said, no, we're not
print the
worried about
money.
defaulting on the debt because we'll just print more money.
Right, but that's the thing about raising the debt ceiling is you're giving the permission to print more money. This is the kind of bizarro, chaotic world we live in. So she's talking about all the bad things that are going to happen, not to the politicians, not to the government workers, no, to you. This is Janet Yellen looking out for you. This is another Gary Gensler trying to protect you, the little guy, the investor. And that's what's going to all the chaotic stuff that's going to happen. You're the one that's going to go down for it.
That's
you
right.
know, whether it's defaulting on interest payments that are due on the debt or payments due for Social Security recipients or to Medicare providers, we would simply not have enough cash to meet all of our obligations. And it's widely agreed that financial and economic chaos would ensue. U.S. Treasury securities are the safest bedrock security underlying the global financial system. A failure of the United States to honor all of its debt would call into question our credit worthiness. Even as we get very close to this date, if Congress doesn't act, we're likely to see financial market consequences. In 2011, there was a steep decline in the stock market and our borrowing.
Jeff, at some point, all I heard was Charlie Brown. Womp, 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 womp.
Tuned her
I
out
just hear
when
her
we
talking, but I
started.
can't pay attention. I don't know
Oh my
what
God, it's so hard to listen to her. I think they do it on purpose. You know, it's kind of like they
was
do
like,
something to the audio which forces you to tune out as soon as she starts
don't know which-
talking because it's like, yeah, it's like
costs. Back
Holy
in
crap.
2011, the U.S. Was downgraded by the credit rating agencies. There would be permanently higher borrowing costs for Americans.
it just rambles on, Jeff.
what
By the way, if anyone's
what
looking for a
was that view,
sleep aid,
right? What were their view ratings on that show? Were they about 0 at that point?
Well, this is like there's 3 of them. There's Meet the Depressed. There's State of the Failed Nation, and then there's This Week and Destruction. I mean, this is like the 3 Sunday shows that they drag out these dinosaurs. They put them on there, and she's still talking about something, Jeff.
Buying a car.
I really don't know what
and,
she's talking about right now.
A failure to raise the debt ceiling would cause a steep economic. If Congress doesn't act, we're likely to see.
This is ridiculous.
If Congress doesn't act, we're likely to see.
At no point is her salary going to be compromised, or any of the politicians, anybody in Congress, anybody who works in the State Department, anybody who works for one of the 3-letter agencies. They're all cool. Who's going to be compromised? You. No Social Security payments. Sorry, sucker. You know, this is absolutely fear and loathing right here, Jeff.
She can't be a puppy because she's old. I love this. You see this one? Gary's mom? No, it's his old lady.
Come on, Dusty. Man, what the hell, dude?
God,
that's
dude.
too much. It's like,
holy shit. Like, let's not do that. That's a bad.
That's a bad thing, man. You know, it's like
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
There you go, Karma.
What's terrifying is that this is all for real. It's like when we were talking about the other day, the whole thing with the Navy, and they brought out that commercial for the Navy, and it's like, are you watching Saturday Night Live? You know, is that Bud Light commercial real? Is all this stuff real? Is she for real? It's like, are we? Maybe we're in like some parallel universe, or you know, at some point they're gonna say, hey, April Fools. There's like the most epic April Fool's joke that anyone's ever pulled on anyone in the history of April Fool's jokes. And it's 2 years long.
No,
you know, maybe
Jeff.
it'll be 3 years long. It'll be like, as we're, you know, everything's falling apart around us. April Fools.
It's not even April Fools. It's like, we live in a bizarre world. I mean, everything is upside down. And it's like, people are like, there used to be a time we joke about the zombie apocalypse. Like, I'm convinced that could happen right now. Like, as we're doing the show, a zombie apocalypse breaks out. And you know what you'd be like? You'd be like, I knew it. You wouldn't even be like even the bit disturbed. You'd be like, I knew it was going to happen. Why did it happen now? I was thinking it'd be in a couple weeks or something, because nothing surprises anybody anymore. It's
crazy.
Well, let's listen to this, Jeff, because see if you can follow this one. This is Chairman Powell. Okay, let's see if we can follow this one. Here we go.
All right.
It's obvious I was lying during the press conference.
There you go.
Banks are, in fact, not fine. I just have to make them cheaper next time for my dear friend, Jamie Dimon, the real chairman of the Fed. Did you regards forget who appointed me? The Mango Man did, and I am a seed agent of chaos.
There you go.
Most of my tenure has been chaotic and historic.
He's the Mango Man.
Oh, is it the Mango Man?
And what is he? This is my favorite line right here.
Chaos. Most of man did, and I am a seed agent of chaos.
A seed agent of chaos. Now listen, the first thing he said that came out of his mouth that made any sense, right? Between him and the Mango Man and the seed of chaos. So we're spot on here.
Most of my tenure has been chaotic and historic.
Your story.
The first global pandemic, then my money printer's quantitative easing that you all got hooked on. Now, a recession in an election year would complete my character arc as a Bond villain.
As a Bond villain.
These regional banks were too addicted to sucking on my money printer. They sucked it so hard and long that they OD'd. What's God without a little OD? He's just a G. More than 100 banks died in 2008. We've only had like 3 so far. We still have a long way to go. I know there will be idiots who buy puts on banks in their Robinhood account and then complain that their 300,000 in gains are stuck and want to sue Vlad and Robinhood. Vlad works for Kenny and me, okay? Your lawsuits are not going to go anywhere. When I dropped my mixtape cipher, you bulls didn't listen. Now you better hope and pray that Tim Apple saves your market. But given what Qualcomm just said in their guidance, the chances of that are skinny. You all got used to VIX being down at 16. Now you will see what happens when Vol jumps back up. You should have listened to Jam Croissant when he said that there was too much potential energy because of where the spooze was. Also, you fucks, especially you Sater, forgot why they say sell in May and walk away.
Hey, Jeff, and you know, sell in May and walk away. I don't know who did this. But I started listening. I was like, sounds kind of actual real. What's going on? Some
Oh my
truth
God.
serum here? Sounds a little bit too true to
Now, don't fucking complain.
He's just all over
That's
the place,
great.
this guy. But anyway, obviously that's a parody, guys. I mean, obviously it's a parody, but
Yeah,
it's fun to
there's
listen
no-
to. The Mango Man, Seed of Chaos. That
This
seems to
is
stick
funny.
pretty well, I have to say.
That was one of the best of all times.
The
All right.
Mango Man, dude. The Mango Man, Seed of Chaos.
I don't even want to play this now, but now I gotta
Do
play
you have
it.
it, Jeff?
I don't know if it's gonna play. We'll find out.
Well, to play of it, maybe it's volume wise.
Let's see.
I hear nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Jeff, try giving it to me. Let me see. Pass it in the put it in the chat there. Let me see. I'll try to play it.
Bizarre.
Toss it in the chat, and then I'll see if I can click on it. Let's see if we get something on this side. I did hear something before. I heard nothing. That's really weird. All right, let me see if I can.
Put it in
work
the
some
chat.
magic.
I wonder if it has something to do with the crisp is all messed up.
Well, you're right, Jeff. It's super loud.
Yeah, it's like
Holy
you play.
cow.
It's like, oh, it's like it should play.
Almost blew my eardrums out. What the hell's going on? Let me
It
try
has to be
this.
something to do with crisp.
There might be some kind of there might be something there. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if we can play it here.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. That's what it is. My crisp settings were off.
Here, let's see this. Let's see if we can go full screen on this. And let's hear it play. Hear it?
Hi, welcome back to Joe Blogs. In today's episode, I want
the beginning part's not so exciting. It's really getting into the chaos part of it.
Okay. What do I need to go to a certain part?
It's like just go right to the beginning. But it's just like he only speaks for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
In Lebanon.
The currency has collapsed. Unemployment is rising. State services are almost non-existent.
Every day people queue for hours, desperate to secure some of the little fuel that's left. As it runs out, tempers flare.
The country is heading to hell. We are so tired. I had to leave my house because there is no electricity and water. I have no money. Everyone's asking for dollars, but I don't have dollars. Have mercy on us.
Where can we go now? They should come and take us now. They should kill us and throw us in the ocean because we can't handle it anymore.
There is little holding the country together, and Lebanon's stability is at risk.
The official rate of inflation in Lebanon has now hit.
Keep going. But you think about, I'm thinking about the chaos that that exists over there, the chaos that went on down in Venezuela for other reasons, but here we have similar types of individuals that are in power, with the same chaos potential. Fortunately, and in Lebanon, one of the things that was happening last year and even before that was that as the banks were collapsing, and now people can't even get their money out, and they're not going to let people take their money out, and that's terrifying. But there was a big movement of money flowing into cryptocurrency, a lot of money going over to Bitcoin. And think about the limit exposure that they might have. They didn't have the Guardian. What was it?
Guardian. You had it right the first time.
Yeah,
Jeff.
the Guardian. They weren't going over to the Guardian. They didn't have access. Maybe they, I don't know what types of exchanges they have access to over in Lebanon. But as the banks are not allowing people to take their money out, this is reality. This is where the purpose of a decentralized exchange that puts the power back into the hands of the people to hold their money. This is it. This represents the reason. Think about all those millions of people over there in Lebanon that cannot get access to money right now. And then we look and we say, okay, hey, Janet Yellen, this is the woman that's supposed to be in charge. She's talking about, the debt ceiling and are we going to have money? And Greenspan talking about, don't worry about it. We're just going to keep printing more money, devaluing the currency. So here you have currency devaluations, 264% inflation. Venezuela was millions of percent inflation to the point where the paper was worthless. You see a lot of de-dollarization going on in Lebanon. They had dollarization. They were moving to backing with the dollar. And so there's all this turmoil going on, and they turn to the IMF. How many times have we talked about the IMF, and others talk about the IMF as the grand savior of the world that's also going to engage and embrace cryptocurrency. And here they are a year in, and the IMF hasn't done anything for Lebanon. That's the reality. So the reality is, forget about the IMF, forget about those three-letter agency, non-governmental agencies that are out there, or the unelected bureaucrats, or even the elected officials that could care less about what happens, what's good for you and what's not good for you. Embracing the decentralized currency, which is why it's so critical, Chip, that we embrace people like Warren Davidson, Congressman Warren Davidson, because he's on the forefront of bringing us in the right direction to provide normalcy. We don't want to turn into another Lebanon.
No, I mean, Venezuela, Lebanon. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, look, even what's happened down in, I know a lot of people from in South America, they're going to Argentina because of the valuation that's happening there. So they're going there and actually buying household goods because they're a third of the price. And if you buy enough of them, I mean, it's a lot cheaper. And I've been hearing these stories as well that are going on. So it's pretty crazy what's happening. I mean, the whole thing is incredible.
So look at Killis was saying, my mom was in line for 3 hours to get gas in Ethiopia. De Havilland was saying 264% makes Argentina seem like the Vatican.
There you go.
You know, and that's it. It's and that's the reality. That's what's, you know, pulling everybody together. That's why there's so many people that are here, you know, with us and just in general that are so passionate about what's happening with the crypto space, so passionate what's happening with XRP, what's so passionate about the US maintaining a leadership role in this innovation. Man, this is what it's all about. And like Paper Chase is saying, if you're in the US, make sure you reach out to your congressional representative. Go to crypto-law.us and write something to them. Chip and I will have additional congressional representatives on here. We're reaching out to more. With Rep Warren Davidson, he's the first, and we're going to have more on. Now, if you go to onthechain.io and you type in Emmer, you can also see an interview that we had with Congressman Emmer, Tom Emmer. So check that out. But we are planning on having multiples moving forward here. This is it. This is the time. People, we have a very short period of time, you know, to make sure that we put the U.S. back on the right path and make sure you protect your interest. If you're passionate about this space, if you're a builder in this space, you want to innovate in this space, you want to invest in this space, all that goes away with the current blue team in power.
Exactly right. Appreciate that, Stealth Eye. Says thank you, Jeff and Chip. Respect, and send us a super sticker. Always appreciate that, guys. Let's go dive bar. There you go. So there you go. I think Mike's phone was running out there. I think that's good.
And there you go from Kelly Slade. Breaking: Argentina's central bank bans financial institutions from offering Bitcoin.
Yeah, you don't want to offer that safety net because don't worry about that. People are going to figure out a way. But this is exactly what happens, Jeff. Is like when this kind of stuff goes down, where is going to be the safety net? Oh, look at that. Another one, Jeff. Look at that. Boom, another one in there. Just appreciate that. It's incredible, Jeff. Go ahead, take that.
Are you saying Elizabeth Warren? Probably not.
No.
We should try. We might as well reach out. There's no harm in reaching out. Say, yeah, no. Could you imagine? Imagine?
I mean, I just don't know how well that would go, Jeff. I don't know. I can't.
Not well.
Well, it reminds me of that time we tried to get the mayor of Tampa on. We had a great conversation with her at Bitcoin Miami. Everything was cool, but then she probably watched the channel, and she's part of the blue team. So it just didn't seem like it was all that was going to work, you know.
Yeah, well, we also tried to get Darren Soto on, Congressman Darren Soto. We had reached out to them, and they
but again, I mean, there's let's look for the places where we can agree. But Jeff, you know, I tweeted this out. This was yesterday, or the day before, sometime this weekend. But talking about, you know, when the government fears the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny, right? So it's kind of funny because when they start banning people and they start saying you can't do this, this is exactly what happens. You know, it's the only time that there's going to be liberty is when the government is afraid. That's why they're banning. That's why they're blocking. That's why they're official narratives. That's why it's the science. That's why it's all these official narratives. And if you don't go along with that, but when the people fear the government, that's when we have tyranny. You know what stops tyranny? In the US, it's called the Second Amendment. In Australia, it was called hand over your guns at the end of the 90s, right? And that didn't work out so well. So that, don't worry. And then people always have this narrative like, well, I don't want to get into let's not even put a tinfoil hat on or not. But if you think about it, if you spend some time and logically come together and think about it, it's always weird to me when the mass shootings happen, Jeff. They always happen in gun-free zones. That's the first thing I've always noticed. Second thing is always around a major news event, right? And that legislation is right there to ram down your throat where we need to take your guns. I'm not saying it's planned, but I'm just saying it's awful coincidental every single time without fail. It's just bizarre to me.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's it. But I'll tell you what, how great it is. The person in the lane next to me today, they're
driving, I'm guessing, or you were swimming?
Shooting.
Oh, shooting lane. Gotcha. I knew it was one lane.
Now, I'm staying on topic. So the repercussion from each shot was so massive. It was amazing.
What kind of caliber?
I have no idea. All I know, they were sitting, they had a scope, they had all this stuff, and you can see the flame off the barrel coming to my side. But if I had my paper, I was zooming the paper back in so I could check the shots, and the wind from it was insane. The paper was like,
you imagine,
and I just stepped back. I had to step out of the little area there because it was almost like the sound and the pressure was getting trapped in my little booth area. It was crazy.
I'd love to see what kind of caliber they were shooting there. It was like,
man, it was intense.
It was a big boy. I was shooting something nice.
And there I am. I was going between a 9.40 and a 22. I love shooting the 22 because it might have been a 50. That's what Harry's saying. It might have been. But I love shooting the 22 because it's hard to shoot. Like every little micro movement can set it off. So you have to be really, still. And if you can, shoot well with the 22, then, but the 40, I love starting off with a 40. That's great. It's got enough power. It's a lot of fun.
Right here, Jimmy says government is going to trigger a maverick response. They persist with trying to herd us like cattle. She's exactly right, man. Listen, you can push people so far, but I think the last 3 years really accelerated everything, and it's kind of like the frog in the pot or whatever that is. Hey, it's getting a little warmer here. By the time you realize it's too late, where when they had to accelerate everything, people are like, whoa, wait, what? And and all this nonsense, and I can't talk about the nonsense, but all this nonsense was happening, and they had to listen to the science, and none of it was based in science. So I was like, these are always the things I worry about. Like, you have to trust the science and trust this. And science is a constant question. There is no, people think like science. Well, we can tick that off the science. We just cross that one off. Well, what is it? Well, we've solved it. Well, no. By the way, Jeff, you think about gravity. Everyone's like, explain gravity. Gravity works in certain scenarios, but it doesn't work for every scenario. So it's like a 40% thing, but it's not a 100% thing, because that's the thing. You're trying to explain something that you just don't quite understand and have the handle on it. So everyone's like, oh, gravity. Yeah, we cross that off the science list. It's not the crossing off the science list.
Yeah, gravity doesn't really exist.
It's done, Jeff. We tick it off there and it's all good to go. Everyone's happy.
It's just science.
It's just science, Jeff. Science. I always think about that Thomas Dolby song. Science.
Desert Fox, get the fake pal on the show.
I hope he doesn't have a staff that watches our videos. It could be horrific. But Jeff, I want to put this up. Do you remember LimeWire? There was Napster, and then right on the heels of Napster, there was LimeWire, and I actually became a bigger.
LimeWire came up recently. I just saw it somewhere.
Yeah, so I haven't.
LimeWire was awesome.
Yeah, so LimeWire was awesome. It was like a better version of Napster, but again, it was like the same. So LimeWire died, but not so quickly. They came back, and they are back at LimeWire. Here, let's go look at these guys, and you'll see what they I love when somebody can reinvent themselves. So here we are. Join LimeWire as a creator or a fan. The LimeWire public sales going on right now. You can buy the LMRW token. Here it is right here. Let's jump over to the website and take a look at it. But there's the same logo. Remember that? I used to love LimeWire. It's for
Oh,
downloading
it was
music.
so exciting. Oh, it's amazing.
So here's the
Napster was
token
exciting,
sale.
and LimeWire is exciting.
There's a LimeWire game. Here's the subscription platform. So they reinvented themselves. Here's the public token sale. I hope it's happening offshore, Jeff, and I hope it's not happening anytime here. But it started on May 2nd, and it's going to be listing on 4 major exchanges. It's reshaping the creator economy, something we participate in, kind of, Jeff. And it's backed by industry titans, Arrington Capital, Kraken, Crypto.com.
Interesting.
Deadmau5, and the DJ, and there you go. So, and then this is the game, Jeff. Does this look familiar? This is Lime. Remember how it used to look like this?
Yeah, this is. Oh
So you put your so they made a game out of it. So you can play a game, you can search for music and stuff. This was the interface for LimeWire. So they made a game. You can win LimeWire tokens here, which is pretty good. I'm going to check this out later. It's like, man, a blast from the past.
Forever.
Yeah. So I'm going to drop that out there.
What is
Game.LimeWire.
the game, what are you supposed to do?
I think you search for music. I think you have to put your email in there first. I'm not going to do that now, but I guess you search for music and search for suspicious files types and look for. But this was exactly the whole.
Oh my God! So you need LimeWire token to do it, to play?
No, you win them. I think you win. You can win LimeWire tokens. Yeah,
it's very interesting.
Well, let me do it. I'll put in my email. Let me put my email
on the chain in there.
Let's see. I'll do that.
Windows XP.
Yep.
That was awesome.
Email. Okay, here we go. So,
disk.
There it is right there, Jeff. So you can let's start the game here. Here we go. Hit start. Okay, search and download music from the 2000s. So what would we want to?
Metallica was always the big one.
Oh, dude, Metallica. We're getting. So there you go. There's some Metallica stuff right there. Let's just download this here.
And then what are you supposed to do with it?
You download it. Complete. There you go. Kind of like that. Guys, throw some bands in there. We can go ahead and download there. What else can we download? The Verve here. Let's see what they got. Let's click and download that. Beautiful.
Try REM.
I didn't even think they released anything. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. Do it one at a time.
And now what are we doing? Did you win yet?
Nickelback, the worst. You remind me where I'm supposed to be. Oh, check it out, Jeff. I got a high score.
Is that based on downloading stuff?
I guess, dude. I don't know.
I don't understand the game, but very cool.
Anyway, you could just
at least they have a game. They have a token. So if they have a game that the token's used in it, the token might not be a security.
I guess you just can continue to restart it. There it is. That's
nice.
That's the game. There it is.
All right, sweet. Well, there you go.
So anyway, I wanted to get into what they're talking about. So they made a little call out here. There's a whole reason here why I put this up here. And where is my tweet? Let's try to get to it. Hang on a second.
Oscar Marsden said this was probably a great idea on paper.
Well, I don't care if you win these tokens. I mean, who knows? I mean, we're not doing it justice, so it's kind of hard to say. But so, Jeff, check this out here. They said they put this tweet out today saying, calling the Ripple community today. Now, they mean the XRP community, but again, people make this mistake all the time. Should we integrate XRP as a payment method for the ongoing public sale of our LimeWire token? 300 retweets and XRP will be live on our platform tomorrow. And they put Ripple logo. Come on, man. Are you being serious? So did they get 300 retweets? No, they got 1,652 retweets. So that's a good ploy. We have to do that. Jeff, do that. And we'll give away badass Yetis if we get 4,000 retweets by tomorrow.
I like it.
Integration is going live in 2 hours. So I guess it's there. So now it does work. So now you can. So I guess it's 30 cents a token. Is that right?
30 cents. Option 2. Yeah, it's 30 cents for one of theirs. And now they have Ripple.
Ripple, and then parentheses XRP. No, it's XRP. Okay, I think I made some. I put something on there. I did say, look, no, it's not Ripple. It's XRP. Should have said XRP.
I don't
community.
understand how they get it wrong. I mean, it's only been a couple years. I don't
know. So anyway, it's a nice way to something they're probably going to do anyway, but to get the community involved, not a bad thing.
Keith, who's going to give away XRP for a token? Exactly.
Yeah, you know what you have. You know it.
Does anyone even use it? No, LimeWire doesn't exist.
And then finally, let's talk about. Oh wow, we're at time, Jeff. How did that happen?
I don't know.
I didn't realize we were at time. I was like, I want to go another tweet, but that's okay. We'll see it for next time. Kind of embarrassed. Look at this. Legendary says, I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it, but I saw Nickelback live in Vancouver before they got famous. Yeah. Jeff, that's okay. I mean, we're gonna cut you a pass. There used to be a great site, and I think somebody took it down. See if it's still up.
Everyone's talking about how many viruses they got from using LimeWire back in the day.
Jeff, this is something. This is just for Legendary. Legendary, this is just for you. Okay, there's a great site out there. It's called "Is Nickelback the Worst Band Ever?" And yes, it is. So if you go to isnickelbacktheworstbandever.com, you will get yes.
Yes.
The worst band ever.
Yes, the answer is yes.
It's one of the greatest. Jeff, I have all kinds. I wish I had room for more new information, but that's been rolling around my head since I don't know how long this has been up for a long time. But if you just go ahead and say, hey, is Nickelback the worst band ever? There you go. And that's all we have. That's all we have for you guys tonight.
So we have, before we go, Savvy and Granny says, if we all have crypto in our wallets, we don't need anyone's permission to buy or pay for goods peer-to-peer. We do not need any middlemen. Load your wallets with a variety of crypto and cash.
That's good advice right there. Crypto Granny knows her stuff. Crypto Granny's solid. Comments are always solid. Sorry, Deadpool. That's what it said. That's what it said at the bottom. Sorry. I was like, I don't know if you guys saw. This is really good, but it says right on the bottom there. It's like, sorry, Deadpool. Even 50 million albums sold, 6 Grammy nominations, 12 Juno awards. What the hell are those? Those are Canadian awards. They're from Canada. That's the Canadian version of the Grammy. And it says, and one People's Choice Award doesn't change the fact that your favorite band sucks. So like, there you go. Anyway, try Peppy coin. Yay. No, I think
Peppy. We need some Peppy.
You can write it up, you can write it down. But that's all we have, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, keep aware tomorrow when you see that Warren Davidson clip drop. Jeff and I put some polish on it. You're gonna like the way it came out. It's nice and clean,
7 a.m.
and it's just 16 minutes, and it goes by fast. But there's a lot of great stuff packed into that. That's all I have, Jeff. What do you got on the way out? Anything?
Brian says, please, fam, stay the course and say no to Peppy.
Yay.
That's it. You guys are the best and the brightest in all of YouTube crypto space, especially Jim D. Buy your Yetis. Buy one Yeti today.
Guys, we gotta see. We need to buy. We have a badass Yeti sale right now during the show. Who's gonna go get one? 125.
But here's what we need to shout out also is that there is a giveaway going on for a badass Yeti, and it's over on Twitter. That's what's really cool. We're doing a badass Yetis over on Twitter. So Chip, how do we find the giveaway? We've got, if you go to xrp.cafe/collection/badass-yetis, you'll find the badass Yetis over on the XRP Cafe, which is very cool. But make sure you also go check it out. There's a giveaway going on. Go check out the Twitter. Do whatever Twitter says.
Here it is. I'm going to drop it in there, guys. Please go follow and then tag 3 of your friends. Help us get the word out about the badass Yetis. There it is right there. So I'll throw it on screen real quick. Here's how it works. Pretty simple. You, sorry, there we go. What the heck, Jeff? What is going on here? I'm trying to zoom in on this screen. There we go. So to enter, you retweet this tweet, the one I dropped in the chat. You follow the Badass Yetis, and you tag 3 friends below. Winner will be randomly chosen in 72 hours. Of course, you can watch the movie about the Badass Yetis, but let's see if somebody from the OTC fam is going to be a winner. But go ahead and do that, or at least do retweet it. It does help put the word out there. So that's all we got.
That's all we got. We will check you guys out on
the next one. Chip and Jeff out. See you guys.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.